Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Mr. Whale here on Twitter having a moment of reflection. He tweeted this out: to think my tweet about Tesla selling their Bitcoin may have helped contribute to a $1 trillion market sell-off is absolutely crazy. He goes on to say, and before people attack me, I've been saying for weeks to take profits and that a bear market was incoming. I hope everyone can find lots of success and make money in this market. It's not easy, especially with moon boys whispering lies in the herd's ears. Now, if you guys don't remember, Mr. Whale did tweet out to Elon Musk, who did respond. Elon Musk then clarified that Tesla was selling Bitcoin, and that could have been part of what set off this crypto plunge. Flawless Baichi down here saying, giving yourself too much credit. Okay, Mr. Whale saying, if I never tweeted, Elon Musk would have never replied and hinted at selling Bitcoin, and we would have probably not tanked, but still most of the credit goes to Elon. Up Only over here saying, can't believe you just said it, sir. A lot of people are in the red. You can be right or wrong, doesn't matter, but don't gloat on someone's bleeding. Mr. Whale responding, can you show me where I'm gloating on people's losses? I've been telling people to take profits up high. Now, I never really thought of this, but when this tweet was first posted and Elon Musk did respond, there was that initial crash for Bitcoin, guys. I've got Bitcoin here on the daily, but it wasn't just that. A few days ago, we did get news that China was going to put in regulations in place for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading, and it also sounds like, at least what they are conveying to the public, is that they are looking to push a more green, crypto-friendly narrative as well. So Bitcoin price right now did tumble over the weekend, but we did see a bit of a recovery. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at about 37,200. And what happened to XRP? Well, we did see a bit of a recovery for XRP as well. This is XRP on the daily. Right now, we're seeing XRP trading at 86 cents. It did wick down all the way down here to a price of about 65 cents. But the good news, guys, is that we closed above 80. Okay, so on the daily, we did close above that 80 cent level. And I was talking about that 80 cent level in a video I did on the weekend. I'll link it up here if you guys didn't see it. And check that out. Check out where that close lands. So here's the close. You guys can see the May 23rd close was on that line there. And this is today. This is May 24th. And you guys can see we're up here. But look at where that close finally ended up. Touching with practically laser precision this level up here. Former resistance becomes new support. And so we talked about this on the weekend. We talked about how we have seen this resistance in the past being a very significant level of resistance for XRP over the last few years. And now we are closing above that. So that is good news. Just going to zoom out a little more here on this chart. Drag it over here and grab this fractal pattern. The other thing I was talking about in that video over the weekend was this fractal pattern and how maybe we have to reevaluate what to be looking at now that we've come down so significantly in price, now that the market has broken down. And if I overlay this fractal pattern on here, you guys can see that we are very, very close. This structure is mimicking this very, very closely. So you guys can see the up, down, up, slightly down, up, and now crashing down and around here. And guys, you can see that is where we retraced just now. So are we going to see more ups and downs? Are we going to see these levels retest again? It is a possibility. If I throw a Fibonacci on here, we can see now that the 0.702 rests in and around here. So that price point would be about $1.56. And you guys can see within this fractal pattern from back in 2017, it does reach the 0.618. Doesn't go past that, does retrace, comes back up to the 618, comes back, retraces, and then shoots right out of there. So the 702 doesn't look as significant from this perspective. Nevertheless, we are okay, guys. Did close above 80 cents. So that is something important to note. There's also this from XRP Crypto Wolf. $100 billion worth of stablecoins are now on the sidelines to buy the effing dip. So that's the other thing, right? The crypto market has crashed. I mean, we are having a bit of a green day today for the crypto space. Nevertheless, the market cap now at $1.5 trillion. So we did see a lot of money just come out of cryptocurrencies, but not necessarily out of the crypto market. As per this tweet here and as per this graph here, the source was Coinmetrics from the block, updated just on May 23rd. We are seeing that, and it's kind of a little fuzzy here, but we are seeing that there are $100 billion worth of stablecoins on the sidelines waiting to buy this dip. So some people, I guess, are expecting these prices to go maybe even lower. What we tend to see is these levels, these lower levels being retested. So could it be that we will come up to the 0.236, then come back down to that 80-cent level, and that's when we'll see more money flow into the crypto space? All interesting things to note. And, despite the fact that, not a lot of us are feeling like cryptonaires at this moment in time, compared to last month, the Cryptonaires documentary has been released. I just wanted to mention this from Dustin Planholt and Brad Kimes. They produced this documentary over the last couple of years, and it has now been released. So you guys can watch the film for free. Here is the trailer. More news, guys, and I talked about this tweet over the weekend, but Ian Northing posting this: Ripple CEO flattered by the accusations of being Elon Musk's puppet master. So this is with regards to that Meltem Demirors tweet, where she was essentially blaming Ripple for the entire cratering of the crypto market. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse claims that it's beyond flattering that CoinShares CSO Meltem Demirors thinks that his company is orchestrating the Bitcoin energy use FUD. It's beyond flattering, and here's a quote from Brad, it's beyond flattering that you think Ripple is the puppet master behind Elon Musk, countless scientists, governments, crypto enthusiasts, and others who have stated the facts about BTC's energy use. For those of you guys who don't remember, Demir suggested that Ripple was the company that was pushing the pernicious anti-Bitcoin narrative. Ripple's top executives routinely have been criticizing Bitcoin's energy use. I mean, it's nothing new. Chris Larson has been saying it for years, Brad Garlinghouse as well. And it's not that Brad is not long on Bitcoin. He's even come out publicly and said he's long on Bitcoin. But in terms of a widely used solution for payments, it's just not going to work. And we've heard that narrative before. Of course, we know Ripple partnering with some of the biggest banks in the world, not to mention central banks and other financial institutions. So this has been the narrative, and now Meltem Demirors is saying, hey, you guys are behind this, and it's just kind of wacky. To think that they're the puppet masters behind this. Anyway, Brad Garlinghouse coming out and defending himself on that. And yeah, Ripple's cost per transaction in terms of energy consumption is one of the lowest in the industry. So you can see Ripple up here, 0.0001133 kilowatt hours compared to Visa, MasterCard, even Libra. Cash, in this case, they use the euro, and Dash, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, of course, 118 kilowatt hours per transaction. So it is no secret, I got to thank Stuart XRP for posting that. It's no secret that Ripple and XRP are going to be the chosen ones, or at least one of the chosen ones, for implementing this new financial infrastructure. The future of finance, guys, is looking green, and Ripple and XRP are going to be part of this. And more news here to suggest that, it's not even just financial institutions and banks that are being captivated by what Ripple is doing in the ecosystem. It's also the International Federation of Accountants, and we know accountants always deal with money. Guys, this is from Rathab Kahneman. This presentation from the International Federation of Accountants suggests Ripple is being considered for trade finance uses. The trade finance narrative has dwindled recently, and yet they name check Ripple in the presentation. So I got to thank the Rathab Kahneman for posting this. Here is the PDF, guys, and you guys can see the International Federation of Accountants. They are a global organization for the accountancy profession. So these guys represent accountants all over the world. Their purpose is to strengthen the worldwide accountancy profession. They were founded back in the 70s, 1977, in Geneva, Switzerland. And this is a brand new updated PDF document from May 2021. These guys are talking about Ripple definitely being part of this financial system. You guys can see here when they talk about exploration of additional innovative solutions not yet widely adopted in supply chains such as blockchain and related tools, including Ripple Transaction Protocol, are being explored by a few larger organizations to improve supply chain management through greater automation, transparency, and visibility. So very interesting to note here that, it's not just the banks. It is now other organizations that deal with money. Even though accountants aren't necessarily the ones that are responsible for moving money, they are usually the ones that are, looking at your finances at the end of the year, calculating your taxes, so on and so forth. These guys understand why it's important, and they are now saying tools, including the Ripple transaction protocol, are being explored for this new financial system. So this with regards to trade finance specifically. As mentioned by Wrath of Kahneman, that narrative has dwindled recently, and yet this organization, the International Federation of Accountants, have mentioned Ripple in this most recent paper from just this month, guys. So great news there. I want to keep going, though, because, at the end of the day, it's really going to be about XRP utility within a financial framework that works globally. And, part of this is going to be contingent on whether the SEC and Ripple's lawsuit gets settled. And I have this tweet here, guys, from Stefan Huber, and he believes that we could possibly see a settlement on May 31st. He's part of the XRP community. I found him here. He is a German citizen by the looks of it. So what I did was I translated this page, and it looks like he's a politician or somebody associated with politics in Germany, function local council. Otherwise, is he a counselor? Maybe he's a lawyer. I'm not entirely sure. This is the only information that I could find for him. His political party is the Green Liberal Party of the city of Zug. Is it pronounced Zug or Zug? Are there any Germans in the audience? And if there are, or maybe someone else who knows, put it down in the comments section. I wanted to also just go back to his Twitter profile here. And so he has a little description here in his Twitter profile, but it looks to be in German. So I did take it upon myself to just Google translate that real quickly. Co-president of the GLP Canton of Zug, City Council of Zug, educator strong enough to fool yourselves. So that's how he describes himself on Twitter. He's definitely involved in politics. And guys, here's what he has to say about Ripple and XRP. Yes, I still believe that a settlement between the SEC and Ripple will be announced on May 31st. Friday's hearing did not change that. Why I think a summary judgment in August is less favorable and less likely for both than a settlement at the last day of May. And here are his thoughts on this. Listen to these reasons. Ripple, number one, the cost to Ripple of a fine is less than 3 months of litigation and business uncertainty in the United States. So you got to think, they're doing a cost analysis likely, and they're saying, look, if we pay this fine, we can just get this over and done with, then we can move on, we'll have the regulatory clarity, and then we can really start making money. He goes on to say, regulatory clarity will only come with new laws, but in the meantime, Ripple would finally have its back in the US. In addition, there is a very small but impossible to rule out risk of defeat in the event of a ruling. Number two, he goes on to say, even though Ripple says that this is not just about them, but the whole crypto industry, I don't buy that. In the event of a summary judgment and a defeat by the SEC for lack of fair notice, Ripple's competitors could save themselves in the future by pointing to Ripple's ruling. With a prior settlement, only Ripple would be off the hook, and the SEC could continue to pursue Ripple's competitors. So, listen to what he says here. If Ripple gets the ruling, that is the more favorable of the two, then there will be clarity surrounding Ripple, and this is kind of like a win-win for Ripple and the SEC, because Ripple will get the clarity, they can go on, move on, and do what they need to do, but there wouldn't necessarily be that precedent-setting ruling, and the SEC could still go after other cryptocurrency companies and, do the same thing, basically take them to court, and, we'll hear this whole story over again for company after company after company. Meanwhile, Ripple's in the clear. They can conduct business. And so he is saying that, despite the fact that Ripple is going on the record and saying, look, this is not just about us, this is about the entire crypto industry. Stefan is saying, I don't think so. You're doing this for yourself. Obviously, there's business interest involved, a lot of money's on the table. And so, I can see where he's going with that. He goes on to say, this is a big advantage for a company that is in competition with other cryptos or crypto companies. That's the other thing we got to remember. There are other companies that are in competition with Ripple, one being Stellar and the XLM token. And so it would not be beneficial if there was that ruling that could give clarity to XLM at the same time as XRP. That wouldn't be as beneficial for Ripple. It'd be better if Ripple just kind of moved on with their result and let everybody else fend for themselves when it comes to perhaps other SEC lawsuits being handed down. So the SEC, defeat by summary judgment due to lack of fair notice, would be tantamount to disempowerment for the SEC in the crypto industry, at least until new laws are enforced. any other company could point to the lack of fair notice to protect itself. I doubt that Gensler wants to complicate the work unnecessarily or even make it impossible until a new law is created. You got to think too, Gary Gensler is brand new to this, and does he want to really start off his term with all this craziness? Probably not. He goes on to say a settlement would be kind of a victory in spite of everything, since Ripple does not have to admit mistakes directly, but at least has to pay a fine. The SEC would not have to chalk up the whole case as an embarrassing defeat, and Gensler's SEC career would not start with a total flop. Moreover, I don't know how binding a summary judgment of a district court is. I can well imagine that both Ripple and the SEC could appeal if they lose on fair notice. Of course, I can't rule that out. If Gensler / the SEC themselves are uncertain and would gratefully accept any ruling as guidance for themselves, then it may well end up at summary judgment. Last but not least, the clarity whether XRP is a security or not can only come from new law this year. Stefan goes on to say, and through litigation, the Howey test can only be replaced by a Ripple test through a Supreme Court ruling. And guess what? That is not going to happen right away, he says. And that will take at least 2 years, which I think is absolutely impossible. One more thing. The two statements attorney and SEC registered with the court 2 weeks ago were not the ones who spoke at the hearing. So remember, there were 2 other attorneys that the SEC decided to hire. And I talked about this weeks ago now. And after doing some digging, we found out that those attorneys had specialized in settlements. So that was the other thing he's pointing out here. George Tenreiro is the attorney who has been fighting for a conviction since the beginning. And George Tenreiro was not the one who was doing the talking. It was one of the other attorneys. So in a settlement, the proceedings are exclusively behind the scenes. Tenreiro is carrying on as normal, as he has to, especially in a public hearing. So very interesting insight from Stefan Huber. Could we see a settlement, guys, by May 31st? So we go down here and Crypto Pete Marsh _ UK here on Twitter saying, interesting, I too can't see the SEC risking it going to summary judgment and losing on their fair notice defense. As you said, future defendants could then cite this precedent set by Ripple, and subsequently the SEC could face a tough time with future litigation if this happens. And guess who agrees with this, guys? None other than Jeremy Hogan. That is exactly correct, and why the fair notice defense is so important. It's what the SEC has to lose in this litigation. Bingo. So we've got this hypothesis supported by Jeremy Hogan, and it looks as though Crypto Pete here is onto something as well. I wanted to thank everybody involved here, Stefan especially, for giving his insight on what he thinks is going to happen on May 31st. There are a lot of reasons why we could see the SEC. That would be beneficial. I mean, quite frankly, they'd be beneficial for both the SEC and Ripple. And May 31st is not far away. Do you think we'll hear of a settlement by then? Tell me down in the comments what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.